What's up, you guys? As I'm sure most of y'all who watch my videos and all probably already know, the Outsidaz are back in the news because, as is, one of the Outsidaz members and one of their main producers is once again dissing Eminem. Of course, he already did a song dissing Eminem like 5 years ago, and Pace One did like 3 songs dissing Eminem, and he named his whole group the Shady Core, and T.H.U.G.G.S did a song about Eminem, and then Royce da 5'9" did a song about the Outsidaz, so the Outsidaz collectively did a song about Royce da 5'9", and on and on. And honestly, at this point, I don't even really care. I mean, it's kind of cool, I guess, that the Outsidaz are out doing interviews again, and, you know, maybe hyping up T.H.U.G.G's next project, whoever's coming out. Like, as is. I mean, I listened to it. It's okay. I mean, I guess I would just sort of say lyrically, he probably needed a proofreader. But it's interesting. Now he's, like, dissing, like, the Eminem's, like, online defenders, amateur MCs with YouTube channels, and, you know, it's all in fun, and it's fine, and, like, I hope he buys their MP3s on Bandcamp, and they buy his MP3s on Bandcamp, and, you know, like, until the Outsidaz and Eminem do that reunion that fans have been asking for decades, or they, you know, unearth the long-lost version of Amityville or something, like, I don't really care. I'm over it. I've been over it. I've been over it for years. I didn't even really care when they were dissing each other back long decades ago, or however long it's been. I really don't care now. But what I do care about is some actual Outsidaz history, which is what I'm here to talk to you guys about today. An interesting little record here by the Thugs, as in T.H.U.G.G.S. Move Your Body 12-inch from 1995. Thugs, as you can see here, they got a pretty interesting logo, is an acronym for the hardest unit God gave society. And I remember this 12-inch back in the day, and I remember kind of staying away from it because I thought with the God reference it was some kind of like independent Christian. And like, look, I'm not saying all Christian hip hop is bad. I've done a video on some classic Christian hip hop before, and there's plenty more. But, you know, like, wasn't really looking for some, like, you know, independent New Jersey grape tree kind of stuff, so I stayed away from it. I didn't really realize who these guys were, but now I know, so now I picked it up. So Thugs, this is their only 12-inch, again, 1995. It's 2 guys, Triple S and Mad Skills, and no, not the Mad Skills from Virginia, or even the guy from Chicago who did that song with JT. This is a different Mad Skills. He spells it differently with 2 A's. And it's produced by Mixture, and if you've been watching my channel, you know I just published a video with Mixture that Custodian of Records did interviewing him, so that's a really dope interview. You know, he produced like Mighty G Poetic and a bunch of other guys. This is another one of the groups he did. So why is this interesting? Why is this connected to the Outsidaz? Because one of those 2 members, Triple S, later became known as SAS, S-A-S-S. I presume that's why Triple S, there's 3 S's in his name, sometimes known as S-Coop. Is one of the sort of lesser known members of the Outsidaz, but, you know, he's been around. He did Finally Had a Brain with T.H.U.G.G. He's not on The Bricks or The Nightlife, which is why he's sort of lesser known, but he is on the All Natural album. He did the song with like Tame One. When T.H.U.G.G. did his mixtape, that Guns Blunts thing, Volume 1, of which I believe there's still only 1 volume all these years later. Like, Sass was on a couple tracks, so like he's always on. You know, like when Outsidaz went to Germany, I did a blog post about that kind of weird CD, or 2 CDs. He's on those posse cuts, so like he's definitely been around and a member of the Outsidaz. But still one of the lesser known members. But he goes way back, as far back as 1995. So there's a 2-song 12-inch. It's got clean and radio edits for both songs and instrumentals for both songs. 1 song is produced by Mixture. I think Mixture sort of produced the overall 12-inch, like it's all done at his production studios and all. Not that he owns it, but that he was working there. House of Music. But he definitely produced the track for the A-side, Move Your Body, which is kind of really funky, kind of, if you're into, like, you know, independent 90s hip-hop, this is exactly what you're after. Like, it's kind of slow and moody. It's got lots of kind of sparse little jazzy samples, like little broken up horn riffs and stuff. Like, it's exactly what you want. You're going to hear clips of it in a minute. And Triple S and Mad Skills, both of them, very kind of lyrical, sort of punchliney, but not too punchliney, sort of right on that line. I would say ideally what you want in the 90s, maybe looking back now, you know, as punchlines don't hold up quite as well, it could be a little less punchliney, but they're not all, like, there's definitely clever wordplay. You can absolutely see why Sass became an outsider. Like, he's right in their lane. It's lyrical, it's humorous, but it's not too jokey, and it's kind of very street level. It's pure, like, Outsidaz kind of stuff. Mad Skills and Triple S here are very much on the same wavelength. They can recognize Triple S, as I'll call him for this record, because he has a distinctive voice, but otherwise, style-wise, and all these 2 guys sound just like each other. Lyrically, they're just like each other, just 2 different voices. So it makes sense that they're the same group together. I don't really know whatever happened to Mad Skills. Obviously, Triple S went on to the Outsidaz. So it's a killer track. The B-side, they produce themselves. But honestly, it's almost as good. It doesn't quite have the same jazzy feel that Mixture gave them, but it still has a very, 90s dope, very sliced kind of samples and stuff, not recognizable samples at all. So again, the kind of ill 90s stuff you want. And lyrically and delivery wise, it's called Freaky Flow, which, yes, obviously is based on the Jerry the Damage vocal sample. I got a freaky flow from Come Clean that, Special Ed also made a song called Freaky Flow of. That was very much a thing. In fact, this came out the same year as Special Ed's. Special Ed, the single came out in 96, but the album came out in 95, and this came out in 95. So I'm not really sure who came first, but I'm not sure it was a particularly original idea on either behalf. And similarly, Move Your Body, that's based on, Biggie Smalls' Everybody, Move Your Body. So they're both kind of obvious vocal samples for hooks. That's not the best part of either record. The production is, though, really solid. These guys are really, this is actually, it's kind of subtle. Like lyrically, they're both pretty dope. There's no real super distinctive punchlines. It's not a real sample that just immediately grabs you. Actually, honestly, it's one of those records where I first heard it, I thought, it's pretty good. Like, it's definitely good. Like, there's no, that's not on the line. But I'm like, it's okay. I don't know if I'm really going to bother with it too much, though, because there's a billion records in hip-hop. How many are you going to replay over and over again? But actually, the more I've gone back to it, the more I appreciate it. I actually like it better and better the more I go back to it. So I would say if you give it a listen, give it a listen again a little bit down the road, I think you'll like it even better. But like I said, it's good either way, especially, like Mixture's production stands out really probably the most when you first listen to it. But as you go back to it, you're going to, I think, really appreciate what Triple S and Mad Skills are doing. So this came out on Word is Bond, this is the only record on that label. This is the only record by the Thugs. So definitely kind of a, one off and gone. I'm sure these guys were looking to get signed or something as opposed to just putting out a whole bunch of 10, 12 inches. And obviously, like we said, Sass went on to the Outsidaz. And since then, I know he's been doing some stuff with Big Dame. I'm almost certainly a connection he made through the Outsidaz, through the Dirty Dozen. So he's continued to do stuff and still does stuff. It's mostly online. He has a bunch of YouTube videos and all, so I haven't checked that stuff as much. But this is dope. No idea what happened to Mad Skills at all. So let's just listen to some clips now. I think you're really going to like it. Like I said, especially if you come back and give it a second chance. But even the first time, you're going to like it. So Move Your Body, Freaky Flow, Thugs, the hardest unit God gave society. All right, see you guys next time.